Hey everyone, welcome to Pipes, Tobacco, and Whiskey. So today we're going to continue our Tobacco 101 series, and we're going to talk a little bit about Perique tobacco. Now, if you want to get a really good history of the Perique leaf, there's a lot of stuff out there on the web that you can find. Smoking Pipes has a lot of great information about Perique tobaccos and how it's grown and how it's processed. Of course, we know Perique to come from Louisiana, mostly from Louisiana, the St. James parish. That is slowly going away because Mark Ryan has passed, and I found out that Poche, it's not really a factory, but that processing area that Poche owned is being sold. And so they are not going to be producing Perique tobaccos anymore. So really the only Perique tobacco that's being produced in the St. James Parish right now is 31 Farms, which is C&D's proprietary Perique tobacco. They also grow it all over the world. They started growing the leaf and processing it in Laos. There's all other places, even in Kentucky and Tennessee. There's some places that are making Perique as well. But we know it. The Perique tobacco that we know and we love is primarily from the St. James Parish in Louisiana. So Perique has some of the most distinctive tin notes that you'll find in any tobacco. When you crack open a tin of tobacco that contains Perique in it, whether it's a vapor, whether it's an English, like what I'm smoking right now, plum pudding, Seattle Pipe Club, or if it's a blend that is just got its supporting roll in it, you know, like a Burley or a Virginia, or whether it's a Perique bomb like the Beast that Cornell and Deal makes, you're going to notice a very, very specific set of aromas that's driven by that pressure fermentation process. And so we're going to start off a little bit with what should we be picking up in a tin note of a tobacco that contains Perique. So first of all, you should be getting the signature Perique pepper and spice aroma. It's really unique to Perique tobaccos. You're going to get a black pepper kind of a smell. It's a sharp, nose-tingling spice. Sometimes it'll have a little bit of a vinegary tang as well. And sometimes even in Perique tobaccos, I get kind of a jalapeno pepper smell in it as well. Usually that's the first thing that people will notice when they open a can or a tin of tobacco that contains Perique. Another tin note that you're going to notice in a lot of Perique tobaccos, especially those that are aged a little bit, is you're going to get a really nice aroma of some dark fruits. Dark fruits like a fig or a raisin or a plum or black cherries. Those through that fermentation process, those aromas seem to come out really, really nicely. Like I said, especially in blends that have been aged for a while. And these notes kind of sit underneath that pepper scent, but it also gives the Perique that rich character that we're looking for. Also in the scent, you should also get some earthy and woody tones. You could expect a dark, damp, cellar-like aroma that will be present in there. And that's kind of like an old wood, a wet earth, a musty barn loft, you know, that mustiness that really comes from Periques. That's what I would consider that funk that comes from Perique, and that's a very unique scent as well. There's also sometimes a molasses and cocoa scent that comes from it. It's not really sweet like an aromatic, but it's more like a molasses. And if you ever really smelled molasses almost has kind of a acidic aroma that is almost like a vinegary background to it. It also has some dark chocolate scents to it, and maybe some fermented brown sugars as well. Usually these notes are pretty subtle, but they are there, and they add a depth to the tobacco. You're going to get kind of an umami fermented tanginess in the nose of that as well. And this is where Perique gets its reputation as the truffle of tobaccos. You get kind of this soy sauce tang, maybe a savory meatness, like a barbecue-y kind of scent to it. Also a little bit of a slight vinegary from the fermentation as well. Okay, so how do tin notes differ in different blends that contain Perique? Well, Perique usually is not a tobacco that you would smoke by itself. It's pretty strong to smoke it by itself. So it rarely appears alone, but depending on what other kinds of tobaccos are in that blend, will kind of dictate what you get out of the nosing of it. Like, for instance, Virginia Periques get a bright hay plus a fig raisiny kind of scent, and then it also has that pepper spice in it as well. Now, if you're dealing with a burley blend that has Perique in it, you're going to get a nuttiness along with the dark fruit and along with a little bit of a tang to it as well. In English blends, like what I'm smoking right now, you're going to get that smoky Latakia scent along with a spice and a deep earth. So those are the kind of things you can expect from those different blends. And if you want to identify a Perique in a blend, smell for the pepper and smell for the dark fruit combo. Okay. So that's a lot of what you're going to get out of the tin notes of Perique. Now let's talk about a little bit about the flavors. So in the flavors, the core profile of what you're going to get is a dark, spicy, fruity, and fermented flavor. Almost like the tobacco equivalent of a strong aged cheese or a barrel aged spirit. That's kind of what the fermentation process of Perique does to the tobacco. You should taste a nice spice and pepperiness, sharp note, some nose-tingling black pepper sensation, sometimes a cayenne-like heat, and it's often described as a piquant or a peppery rather than a hot kind of spice. This is the signature taste that you're going to get, and most smokers will get that first from a Perique blend. You're going to get some dark fruit in the flavors as well. A raisin, a fig, a plum, a date, black cherry, even a prune kind of taste. Maybe some stewed dark fruits as well. Deep wine-like sweetness, sometimes like a port or a sherry character is what you might get out of that. These are flavors that come from the pressure fermentation process and is unique to the St. James Parish. You might get some earth and some woodiness, like we said in the tin notes, some damp earth, those old wood or barrel notes, a touch of mustiness, not in a bad way, but in a good way. You might get those flavors as well. And this is where the fermentation character really shows up. You should get a real richness and depth to the flavors. Kind of like that molasses starts to appear, that dark chocolate, a slight smokiness, not like Latakia, but a deep kind of smoked sensation like a smoked meat kind of. You should also get an umami savory note, like that soy sauce tang that we were talking about, that fermented funk that you should get, a meaty richness. Those are things that you might taste in a Perique blend. Perique adds body and complexity, even in small percentages. Most of the Perique blends that I smoke are anywhere from the 8 to 10% category. But there are some blends out there that are very heavy in Perique, like the Beast that has 51% Perique. Okay, so how do Perique blends behave? Well, most blends use anywhere from 5 to 20% of Perique because straight Perique is just way too strong to smoke by itself. In Virginia Periques, you'll taste that sweet hay, dark fruit, and pepper. In English blends, that Perique adds a depth of spiciness behind the Latakia. And in Burley blends, it's going to add a dark fruit and tang to the nutty base. So if you're tasting a blend and want to identify the Perique in it, look for that pepper hit on the retrohale and the fig raisin sweetness underneath it. So Perique shows up in a lot of the legendary blends that we've all heard of. But a handful of them have become the reference points for vapors, for English with Perique, for Burley Perique mixtures. And I wanted to share some of the most popular blends of Perique that contain Perique tobacco in it. And so I'm just going to give you a kind of a brief list on these. There's so many out there, but these are the ones that have stood the test of time. So classic vapors. We've got Escudo Navy Deluxe, which is the gold standard. Coins with a bright Virginia and a rich Perique core. The Dunhill Peterson line, the Elizabethan mixture. Zesty, bready, Virginias with a peppery Perique. Also, the Stokeby Luxury Bullseye Flake are coins with a Cavendish center, but also contain a sweet, fruity, peppery Perique in it as well. Solani 633 Virginia Flake with Perique is a great one. Smooth, refined, citrus, and a little bit of a fig taste to it. C&D Bayou Morning has a higher Perique content in it, up to about 25%. It's bold and it's spicy. And then C&D Bayou Night, which is a darker, heavier, more intense blend than the Bayou Morning. Stoved and red Virginia Periques that are popular out there. These blends lean to a darker, deeper, richer kind of flavor profile. So the McClellan 2015 Virginia Perique Flake, that was the old bulk blend that McClellan put out. And although it's not being made anymore, it's still available. You can find them at different shows. And its claim to fame was that tangy red Virginia base plus the Perique fruity spiciness. C&D's Opening Night. Pure Virginia with a Perique-like tang, often paired with Perique by blenders. Gowith and Hogarth Louisiana Flake. It's earthy, it's rich, and naturally sweet. Another one that I would go with on a Perique, Virginia Perique, is the HU Louisiana Broken. That is a great example of a Virginia Perique that uses some reds and a few brights in it. You get all the characteristics of the Virginia, and then the Perique adds a slight pepperiness, but a really nice dark fruit tone to it as well. English blends with Perique. Of course, we've got my favorite, Plum Pudding and Plum Pudding Special Reserve. Those are always my go-tos. You get the Perique adds a spiciness to it in there that is just a hint of a tongue sting, really nice, along with all of the Balkan flavors that you get from the Latakia and the Orientals. Dunhill Peterson Nightcap is a Latakia forward blend with a Perique kick. GL Pieces Haddo's Delight is a favorite out there. It's got a dark fruit, kind of a boozy note to it, and a strong Perique content. GLP Chelsea Morning, bright, complex, light smoky with a Perique sparkle. Some Burley and Perique blends, and we call those burpers. So B-U-R-P-E-R, as we call vapors for the Virginia Periques. Burpers are the Burley Periques. And those add a fruit and spice to the nutty burley. Some of those popular ones out there is Haunted Bookshop. It's very strong, earthy, peppery. It's one of those blends that you either love it or you hate it. And I know a couple of guys. I know Nate Rose is one of my friends that's a pipe maker up in Canada, and that's his everyday go-to. He loves Haunted Bookshop. Old Joe Krantz is another one. Bold burley with a deep Perique backbone to it. And then the Solani aged burley flake. It's got just a hint of Perique in it, but it's so delicious. And it's really got some subtleties to it that are very interesting as you smoke it. And I don't always get the same smoke twice in the same pipe with that blend. It's kind of interesting how that goes, but it's a great blend. Some aromatic adjacent vapors are the Davidoff Flake Medallions, which is similar to Bullseye Flake, but smoother and a little more refined. And then the Savinelli Doblano d'Oro, which are coins with a little bit of a rum character to it and rich Perique. So those are some popular Perique blends that you can find out there, and many of them are still available. Okay, so what are some friendly Perique blends that are good for beginners to try? Of course, these are all my opinions, but these are some that I find that I recommend to people who are just getting into Perique blends. I love the Stokeby Luxury Bullseye Flake, especially when aged, but they're still good when you get them straight from the store. It's got some soft Virginias with just a little touch of Perique and a Cavendish center. It's sweet, it's creamy, it's lightly spicy. It's very forgiving and pretty easy to smoke. This is always one of the first ones that I recommend. The Davidoff Flake Medallions, similar to Bullseye Flake, but smoother and more refined, like I said. Mild Perique essence, sweet, bready, elegant. Perfect if you want a premium, gentle introduction. The Peterson Elizabethan mixture is a classic vapor with a moderate Perique level. It's got bready Virginias in it and peppery Periques, balanced and approachable. To me, that's a great textbook example of what Perique should taste like. The Solani 633 Virginia Flake with Perique. It's smooth, it's citrusy. It's got Perique, not too much Perique in it that adds more fruit than spice. It's really clean, it's very refined. If you want more fruit flavor than a peppery flavor, that would be one that I would recommend. The Savinelli Doblano d'Oro is a coin with Virginia's burleys and Perique. It's got a slight rum note to it. It's mild, spicy, warm sweetness to it. Very nice. Gentle flavors. It's real easy to enjoy, and it's a great all-day smoke. The Escudo Navy Deluxe, that is the classic vapor coin. Medium Perique presence to it, but it's pretty smooth. It's sweet, it's fruity, and it's peppery. It's not the mildest one in the selection that I've given you, but it is well balanced. If you want the mildest Perique experience, start with Luxury Bullseye Flake, Davidoff Flake Medallions, or the Solani 633. Those would be really, really good ones to start with. Now, if you want a Perique kick in the pants, nice strong Perique forward flavor, here are some of the ones that I think that you should be looking at. These deliver a heavier pepper flavor to it, deep fermented fruit, and some serious nicotine to it. And those that are really big Perique lovers love these blends. All right, so C&D Bayou Morning, often cited as the strongest Perique blend, up to 25%. Now, since they've also produced the Beast, it's not the strongest, but it does pack a punch. Sharp pepper, dark fruit, and some serious strength to it. This is a vapor for people who really want the Perique to dominate. C&D Bayou Night, even darker and heavier than Bayou Morning. Perique, Latakia, Burley, and Virginia. It's deep, smoky, spicy, earthy. Got lots of nicotine in it. So if you want a sledgehammer, that's the one to get. GL Pieces Haddo's Delight. Rich, boozy, fruity, and loaded with Perique. Strong nicotine, dark, fermented, fig and pepper character to it. It's a cult classic for Perique lovers. GL Pieces Triple Play. This is a dense plug with a heavy Perique core. Strong, earthy, spicy, and meaty. Deep fermentation notes, and this one is not for beginners. That is a powerhouse. C&D Old Joe Krantz. Burley and lots of Perique. Strong, earthy, peppery, and rustic. High nicotine to it, and is a favorite among Burley Perique fans. This one hits hard in both flavor and strength. It's a strong one. C&D Haunted Bookshop. Burley forward with a sharp Perique bite. Dry, earthy, spicy, strong nicotine, and like I said, people either love it or hate it. All right, C&D Exclusive. This is a vapor with a massive Perique load. Peppery, fruity, bold, very strong retrohale, underrated but extremely potent. If you want Perique to dominate, this is a sleeper that's out there. All right, so if you want the absolute strongest Perique experience, then start with Bayou Morning, Haddo's Delight, or Old Joe Krantz. This is widely considered to be the Perique powerhouse trio. So when you're smoking Perique heavy blends, the pipe shape you should choose can make a big difference. Perique is spicy, fruity, and strong. So the best shapes are the ones that cool the smoke, control the burn, and soften the pepper without muting the flavors. So some of the best shapes for Perique. Okay, so bent billiards. The bend in the billiard helps cool the smoke before it reaches your mouth. It's great for Perique's peppery retrohale and comfortable for long vapor sessions. So this is one of the most forgiving shapes for spicy blends. Dublin. The Dublin has a conical bowl which concentrates the flavors. Narrower bottom helps to control the Perique's intensity. And it's excellent for blends where Perique is the supporting player. Dublins are famous for enhancing Virginia sweetness while taming the Perique. An apple. Round bowl equals cooler burn, smooths out sharp edges in high Perique blends, and great for Bayou Morning, Haddo's Delight, and the other stronger Perique blends that we talked about. If a Perique feels a little too spicy, try an apple shape to see if it mellows it out a little bit. A billiard. Never can go wrong with a billiard. Straightforward, balanced, reliable, medium chamber works well for ribbons or flakes. Lets you taste the Perique clearly without amplifying it. And like I said, it's a classic. Brandy shape. Wide chambers, it helps enhance the dark fruit side of Perique. Great for blends like Escudo and Solani 633. Smooth, round, rounds out the flavors and rich. If you want Perique to taste jammy, rather than peppery, then a brandy is the way you'd want to go. Canadian or Lumberman, long shank equals cooler smoke. Excellent for strong Perique blends and helps reduce the bite and the heat. This is perfect for Bayou Morning, Old Joe Krantz, or anything with a lot of Perique in it. So to kind of encapsulate that, which shape is best for you? You want less spice? Choose an apple or a brandy. You want more flavor clarity? Choose a Billiard. You want a cooler smoke? Choose a Canadian. If you want balanced sweetness and spice, choose a Dublin. Hopefully this has helped you kind of get through the Perique maze out there. This is just my opinion. I have done quite extensive research on this and found that this information is to be the most consistent. So I think if you'll try these, you'll be able to appreciate much more of those Perique blends. Hopefully this helped you, like I said. And next week, we're going to have some videos for you. I'm going to see Davis & Son in Wilmington, North Carolina. And I'm going to have a chat with Stephen Mobby from smokingpipes.com. And so we'll have some great content for you coming up. But until then, don't forget, make all your piping moments count. We'll see you next time and have a great week. Bye-bye.